Much of the Tenno and their symbiotic relationship with the Warframes is shrouded in mystery. The chaotic powers of the Void constrained within the transference process lends the Tenno their power, but also answers some questions about our ever-present hunter, the Stalker. Transference was a process developed by the Archimedean known as Margulis, initially as a therapeutic process to alleviate the Tenno of their pain. However, the Orokin in their endless lust for power twisted and perverted the benign science into a tool of warfare. Through the use of somatic pods, Tenno enter a lucid dream that brings their void energies in check while also allowing them to manipulate objects in the waking plane to a certain extent through the use of pure energy avatar forms. To further facilitate their interaction with the material world for the purposes of combat, the Warframes were developed. While it is still not technically 100% certain, the dialogue in the Silver Grove quest seems to once and for all confirm that the biological material within Warframes is in fact technocyte, or at the very least related to it, as Sylvana, an expert in technocyte, is recruited to assist with their construction. It is further explained within this quest that the transference process is uniquely tied to the Void and requires intense energy and focus to operate efficiently. However, it does not mean that void energy is required to operate them at all. As Sylvana explains, somatic links can be developed between normal humans and Warframes as well, but requires immense amounts of focus and causes physical drain upon the user. Furthermore, it would seem that after extended exposure to the somatic link, the user is fully separated from their physical body and their energy, or consciousness, is trapped in their linked target, as evidenced by Sylvana literally becoming the Silver Grove. So while the Tenno, being creatures of the Void, are able to engage and disengage from transference with ease, non-Tenno take a serious risk in long-term damage or full immersion within their somatic link, often losing clarity and lucidity in the process, as transference, much like actual dreams, has a way of corrupting the mind of those who engage too long. Perhaps even the Tenno are affected by this process, as that would explain their memory loss, but the memory loss could just as easily be a side effect of extended cryosleep, or a deliberate action taken to absolve themselves of guilt for the slaughter at the terminus. Regardless, the thought of a non-Tenno, somewhat insane, non-dreaming transference user sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? That's right, the Stalker. While the second Dream Quest initially seemed to retcon the Stalker's codex entry of being a non-Tenno low guardian, the Silver Grove quest and the Acolyte events combined bring the Stalker into a new light. It would seem that the Stalker, being consumed with revenge, engaged in transference at great cost, becoming fully separated from his body and losing most of his sanity, as he seems to be unsure of his true nature given the dialogue from Hunhao in the second Dream Quest. As an aside, while Hunhao claims that the Stalker is a Tenno, it should be noted that he is not an entirely reliable narrator. Not only is he focused on his own goals, which could lead to him obfuscating the truth, he seems to not be fully privy to the true nature of the Orokin's experiments, as seen with his surprise when the empty Warframe acts of its own accord. The dialogue from the Acolytes stating that the Stalker is non-dreaming and taunting the Warframes as being merely empty suits would indicate that not only is the Stalker fully immersed in transference, but the Acolytes might be as well, though other possibilities, such as the Acolytes being sapient Warframes with no operators, are valid cases as well. Regardless, it would seem that the Stalker's true operator has long since died or become empty, and has fully become the shell he inhabits, a task that, given the difficulty Sylvana had with controlling the Silver Grove, would indicate an immense force of will and undying resolve to gain vengeance for the Empire. Whether or not the Stalker and his acolytes have Oro remains to be seen, but it is not outside the realm of possibility that the forms they use are their only ones, hence why they retreat when nearly killed. But as with many things in the Warframe universe, these are mostly uncertain, and should not be taken as the only interpretation. But until the time comes when we have all the facts, this is what we know.